guys, what's going on? Back again with another Vanguard Zombies video, and I came across a really nice audio log yesterday playing Anfang, and I'm not sure if it's been there since the preseason or it's something that just got recently added in Season 1, but it has a really nice backstory or gave a really nice explanation of some of our field upgrades, some of the, what I'm going to call it, like overlords or overlords of the Dark Aether. You know, we have like Nordicus, and we have like Ring of Fire, and the Frost Blast, and stuff like that. So those Dark Aether overlords that are, you know, are basically field upgrades. It actually gave a little bit of a backstory to them, and it's actually really cool how it explains their kind of origin story, so to speak. And it made me think about the Chaos story, and it made me think about how great of a story, or if it's either a solve or maybe it's a story or an angle that Treyarch and Call of Duty probably should use, because it makes it look like the field upgrade overlords, I'm gonna call it, that they were, or it explains that they were the Greek gods that were you know, in our Greek mythology, and they eventually got banished to the Dark Aether, and now that's how we know them as the Dark Aether overlords. So it made me think about like Revelations and even the Chaos story, how the Aether story and the Chaos story were pretty much the same exact story. So like I said, I know a lot of the big zombie YouTubers are now just like negative and toxic, and they no longer really cover the story. They just cover a bunch of like hate videos or like stuff that's going on in the studios at Activision, like Treyarch. I always joke around to myself and other people and say that like these big zombie YouTubers are more likely to report on like somebody dropping an egg in the cafeteria at Treyarch or something like that, or somebody forgetting to flush the toilet at Treyarch or something like that, than actually caring or reporting on the story that they're actually, their jobs are to kind of report and play the game and stuff like that, rather than just reporting on what goes on at Treyarch and Activision and Infinity Ward and stuff like that, because they're missing a lot of good story. And again, I brought that up because the Aether story and the Chaos story are pretty much identical. But it's on this map. It's on this windmill map, and I forgot what map it is. But yeah, if you listen to the artifact that's on this windmill map, it talks about, again, the field upgrade overlords from the Dark Aether. They were once like Achilles, and one was like Ares, or they remember speaking to them, and they became transformed into, you know, these overlords in the Dark Aether, which would make a cool prequel to the Chaos story, maybe explaining again the parallel between, or similarities between, the Aether story and the Chaos story. How, if you guys remember Revelations, Maxis was sleeping, and then the summoning key woke him up, and then he somehow like got transformed into the Shadow Man, and because he was possessed by the summoning key, it possessed them to you know, bring forth the Apothicons and stuff like that. So I made me start thinking again about how the Chaos story could venture down that same path, how it looks like it might venture down that same path, how maybe somehow we're gonna bring these Dark Aether overlords into the real world, and that's how the Chaos story started, how there were like these Greek mythology characters in real life, how Ancient Evil had Medusa, and Nine Voyages of Despair had like Poseidon and stuff like that. How a lot of the Greek mythology gods were all over the Chaos story. Everything was based on the Chaos story. So it made me again think about how awesome it would be, for that is what they have planned, that maybe somehow our characters, and even with Cold War and the Dark Aether, how we ended up letting the one out of the Dark Aether and stuff like that, how he tricked us. So it made me think the same thing, how, and it would kind of help support or show the zombie community and the zombie YouTubers that like and it's the same thing World War II zombies, how it's almost always going to be the same story repeating and how, and it's true because even in real life you see how the same stories in the news repeat year after year and stuff like that, how it shows that life is somewhat kind of like a cycle, but in this case it would show how we accidentally get tricked, kind of almost like Primus and stuff like that, and Ultimus, how they always use people, and some of the characters and zombies are always using people. How we're getting used by the field upgrade overlords, and they're gonna trick us and have them escape the Dark Aether. Maybe they're gonna convince us to let them out of Dark Aether, and then they're just gonna ravage Earth, and that's how we kind of maybe go into the Chaos story. The only thing too that I want to point out and remind people that the voice actress um, for Scarlet has hinted for the last couple like months about maybe her Scarlet character coming back. I know she's in COD Mobile and stuff like that, but she's either and I mean this in a nice way, clickbaiting, and it'd be really funny, or hinting at her character coming back. But that would be a cool idea to see, like maybe we somehow get tricked and let out the Dark Aether overlords, which are the field upgrades, and then they end up conquering Earth, so to speak, in their like normal form. I think that would be a brilliant idea, and I tell people the way to solve Treyarch Easter eggs, Call of Duty zombie Easter eggs, is you almost have to think clever like the devs, because that's the thing with a lot of the story in the past is like it's stuff that like, wow, that was really a brilliant idea how they pulled that off, and it just made me think again how cool and a brilliant idea it would be that like DLC 4 we somehow save the field upgrade overlords. Maybe Cortifex is the good guy, and maybe Cortifex is trying to stop us from letting out or maybe Von List ends up being the good guy, and he was trying to stop us from letting out the field upgrade, Greek gods or whatever. Because again, if you listen to that audio on the windmill map, which is it's on the back of the map, inside I think like a wheelbarrow or a crate or something like that. It talks about how they were once Greek gods and they got banished, and they once one of them knew like Achilles, and the ironic thing too that I want to touch on is, and I tell people, piecing stuff together, and it's just how ironic or maybe even clever the way Treyarch does stuff. The Achilles heel of the zombies community is like Treyarch can put like 5 clues in front of them, 4 clues in front of them, and people might be able to find those clues, but then to piece those clues together into a bigger puzzle or an explanation is what the zombies community is really, really, really bad at, and not necessarily the zombies community, because I don't want to sound like I'm hating on them, but maybe like again, like I said, the big zombie YouTubers that like some of them missed a lot of stuff ironically going back from World at War, Black Ops 1, and stuff like that. A lot of the story stuff, story narratives and angles and deep stories and deep Easter eggs and stuff like that. They missed it or don't know how to like piece it together, how to or what it explains. I know the whole idea of the zombies community is for everyone to come up with their own theories, anyways. But like I said, in the past, I've seen videos where people have said they have no idea what's going on, and then that always brought up the question like, why are you recording a 10-minute video saying that you don't know what's going on? Which is super duper annoying. And again, that's one of the reasons I got into doing this is I used to watch a lot of videos. I came on to the zombie story kind of late, like again post maybe Black Ops 3, maybe towards the end of that, between Revelations and Zombie Chronicles, and I tried to catch up and watch a lot of videos and people answering questions from the zombies community, and in those like 10-minute videos, they would answer like 5 questions, and 4 of them they'd be like, I don't know what the answer is, I have no clue. I'm like, why are you recording a video? Or they would just kind of piece stuff together and do it and not have the right answer, give all wrong answers. And again, I know it's kind of rude to fact check people, and people should have their own theories and stuff like that, but When you sell it as fact is when I have a problem. If it's you sell it as a theory, I'm okay with it. But I watch a lot of videos again in the past of people just coming up with like really big BS answers, and you can tell like how people did in school, as the teacher would say, like people that like fake it on a test and they write this real long, sophisticated BS answer that has nothing to do with the question that was asked. Um, but again, this is really cool if it ends up being the angle that Call of Duty or Treyarch wants to go down, to make it like the Chaos Story prequel, where maybe we get tricked. Like, and again, it's the same story, so I'm hoping that people have caught on by now that like uh, even World War II, IW Zombies, especially IW Zombies, Aether, and Chaos, they're really kind of all the same story. They've always been in the same intertwining story, just kind of told in different ways and different angles. So this would be really cool if, like, hey, again, we get tricked. Like our crews were always getting tricked by people, and it's always the same story. Is like it's always us being tricked by someone. We're always falling for someone's trick. We're always being deceived. So in this version of that, it would be like us getting tricked by the field upgrades. Like, hey, we're gonna help you guys out. We really want to help you defeat Cortifex. But what if Cortifex ends up being the good guy that was trying to stop? Kind of the same thing with the Apothicons and the Keepers. How we thought the Keepers were the bad guy, but they were actually the good guys trying to stop us from letting the Apothicons and Shadows of Evil out and stuff like that. Again, Scarlet and Max as being similar. They were both looking for their dad and got separated from their dad or missing and went missing and stuff like that. And with Alistair and Max as being somewhat similar. I mean, like again, it's always the same story going on, but I think it'd be a really cool, brilliant idea. But again, I'm gonna end it on this anyways. That the unfortunate truth is COVID-19 happened. A lot of stuff that's happening at Activision Studios and Treyarch Studios that I don't know what at this point got scrapped. And again, another ironic thing is it is almost like Transit again happening, that like a lot of stuff might get scrapped from that got same thing that got scrapped from like Transit. I don't know at this point for Anfang what's gonna get scrapped because of like the stuff that's going on in real life with the studios, COVID-19, COVID-19 variants, stuff like that. So, but if they were able to still pull it off eventually, or maybe in the next game or something, that all this ends up being kind of a prequel, how the Greek gods got released onto Earth in the Chaos story, and stuff like that. Or maybe to kind of explain, because I think one of the theories back then was Scarlet being a pseudo god, I guess is what they call it, where like Alistair was maybe human and Scarlet's mom was maybe a god, or maybe Poseidon, or vice versa. Maybe Poseidon was maybe Scarlet's dad, because I know there's a lot of Poseidon stuff in there. But again, one of those things, we still don't know where Chaos was going. That might still eventually have a sequel. But for this to maybe explain like how the Greek gods got onto Earth would be kind of cool. Again, maybe us letting them out, like how Maxis let out the Apothicons in Revelations, how he got tricked and somehow I guess maybe got possessed by the Shadow Man, or maybe became the Shadow Man because of the summoning key, and he let out the Apothicons on Earth, and that made Revelations and stuff like that. Like again, people like, it just blows my mind, and it shows how hateful big zombie YouTubers are. It's like it's all the same story. They're really bad. Again, the Achilles heel of like piecing stuff together or noticing stuff or noticing similarities. But I think I kind of explain this nicely. Again, probably went more than I probably should have, but I'm sure I got the point across that it's always been the same story. So it'd be kind of cool to give us an idea of like maybe this is how the Greek gods came on Earth in the Chaos story. We got tricked and we let them out in maybe DLC 4. But again, with COVID-19, I don't know what's going to come with this story. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. I'll see you guys later.